Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 10 of Direwolf20's Let's Play of OceanBlock2. Today's plan, I upgraded my diamonds, or my sluice to a diamond sluice real quick between episodes, because that was like really easy to do, and I probably should have done it sooner. And because I'm really trying to get more gold, because I need blaze gold, and it's a lot of gold. It is. It's a lot of gold, and people have said that to me before. But it's like, well, blaze gold's pretty powerful, so I'm okay with the gold cost being high. So I'm basically sieving or sluicing, if you will, a ton of sand with the goal of getting more gold. While that's cooking, there's a couple things I wanted to look at doing today. So first off, I think I'd like to navigate down this path a little bit and get into steel. So I think my steps should be like, let's make some coke bricks, get a coke oven going, right? And then once we're there, we should be able to make steel ingots somehow. The powered foundry from Tech is just what I need to make even stronger metals. Using the coal coke from the coke oven, I should be able to combine this with iron to make steel. Craft steel in an Tech foundry. Okay, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. But that comes from this side. So if I want to get to steel, right, I need to go coke oven and Tech foundry, right? And to get to an Tech foundry, we're going to have to get into Tech's steam engine or magmatic boiler. I don't know if that's both or and or, but we'll find out. For that, we'll need silicon. And copper alloy infused quartz, which is going to need quartz, which is going to need Netherack. Cool. So in the lava, so let's start with the coke oven, so we can start cooking up coal coke, and then go from there. Is that a plan? I think that's a plan. So for a coke oven, I'm going to need those magma droplets, right? And we're going to need a bunch of clay and a bunch of bricks. So I've got some clay. Let's math this out real quick. So it's going to be 4 becomes 3. And I need 27, so I need 9 sets. So I need 36 brick and 36. Yeah, so that should be cool. So I should be able to pop over here. Ooh, and one thing I wanted to mention, I remembered it real quick. When I made my blaze gold chest piece, they're giving me the extinguish upgrade for free. How cool is that? How cool is that? I love that. So remember, extinguish will just turn off, it just extinguishes flames, right? So if I take, fire damage, extinguish will put me out. It does have a cooldown, so I didn't light on fire there. I guess there's not a great way to demonstrate that right now, but don't worry about it. Trust me, it's a good upgrade if you don't know what it is. Some more dirt for some clay. Are you guys out of water or something? You might be. No, you're not. You're good. So then why are you being so slow about stuff? There you go. You were faster previously. Oh, you have to right-click on it to find out how much water is in it. Got it. Okay. Anyway, that should be good, right? So there's your 27 coke bricks. And then we'll just need a little bit of iron and string. This has kind of become my de facto items chest there, just because I've been too lazy to move stuff. Let's relocate our these things so that I can attach or build my coke oven. Ooh, 99 blocks south. South would be that direction. Where is my... Let's head south. I want to get it. Everybody's been yelling at me in the comments about me completely failing with this thing. So I want to make sure I get them this time. One thing I'd love to get, by the way, is rice seeds. I haven't found those yet. and I would love to. So yeah, we'll have to see if I get any luck there. So what did I get? Ooh, a significant amount of gold. Somebody heard that I needed gold. Somebody heard that, I guess. Somebody heard, hey, Dyer needs gold. That was nice of them. Ooh, and emeralds too, and Fluix, and red alloy wire. And more emeralds, and ooh, what do we got here? Magma Walker. That sounds cool. Suppresses damage from hot blocks, heat resistance, and fiery treat. That's cool. For 48 seconds, allows walking on the surface of lava without sinking or taking damage. After the time runs out, the boots start overheating and deal damage to the wearer proportional to the level of overheating. To cool down, the wearer must stay away from lava blocks. The cooling time also depends on the level of overheating. That's kind of cool. I like the sound of that. We should equip those, right? Absolutely. Okay, and now it's getting dark, and I've looted all the chests, yes. With the exception of this red alloy wire that I somehow missed. And remember, darkness isn't a big deal, because mobs only spawn underwater. Right? Mobs should not spawn above water. So, yay for a whole ton of gold. Somebody was listening. Somebody was listening. When I said I needed gold. What else I need is a giant chest to store all my miscellaneous junk. And or an AE system. You know, either one. Either one would work. I've been upgrading my chests slowly but surely here, but thus far I have not yet, you know, perfected the art of storing lots of items. I've just been kind of expanding my miscellaneous junk chests because the next tier after iron is going to be gold, maybe silver. Either way, lots of stuff. I'll put my trophies in there for now, along with you guys. All right, so coke oven's built, right? We formed that dude, which means I can now throw either I can probably just throw blocks of coal in there. Let's do that. I don't know how much of this we're gonna need, but like that works, right? Totally. The only thing I wouldn't mind doing, I had an extra tank, right? Because I was derpy with tanks at one point. I remember having some kind of tank. Didn't I make a tank at some point that I didn't really need to make? Remember? It was like over here and I did the thing and then I moved and swapped it back out. What happened to that tank? What did I do with it? See, now I have too many miscellaneous junk dudes. I feel like it was one of these guys, right? A fluid tank from Ender.io. Didn't I make one of those? I mean, I thought I did. But maybe I didn't. Well, I should have no problem making one of them now, right? I might have bars still, and I might have glass. So I can just make another one and call it a day. And the reason I want to do that is I'm pretty sure fluid tanks from Ender.io can pull, which means that when you make creosote, you're going to pull and, you know, store that creosote in the tank. Is that cool? I like that plan. All right, so coke oven, check. And for that, we got some coal and experience in the immersive book, which I'll put away. You know, I'm going to backpack the immersive book because I definitely need to reference how to make the multi-blocks often. So if we're going to be doing lots of multi-blocks with immersive, having the book is going to be cool. Okay. So with that said, now let's look at Netherack, because like now we have to loop around to this side to get to the steel processing, and then we can get diamonds, and that'll be cool. So for that, and you know, before we do that, I want to just check chapter 1. Is there anything I'm like missing here that was major? I never got into the Tinker's thing, right? I probably should do that, but I already kind of started down this path. So let's do this and we'll circle back to Tinker's thing at some point. I can find a few blocks scattered on the islands, but I need to find a way to make it. I think I should experiment more with the temperature of the soul fire. When heating up the tempered glass jar, it should replicate the heat of the lava dimension. Task. Craft Netherack in a superheated glass jar. So that's just redstone and lava equals 16 netherrack. So that's actually not terrible. So what I'm going to do, is get like 30 of you. And I'd also like to make another tempered glass jar. Now, did I save the extra tempered glass that I got last time I made? There's my fluid tank. It was right in front of me, wasn't it? Boy, the comments. I'm waiting for the YouTube comments on that one. See, what I could do is edit that whole thing and make it so that I wasn't a derp. I could do that, but you all know, A, I'm way too lazy. There's no way I would ever do that. But also, you know, I'm just saying. Anyway, did I have... because I did search for tank, didn't I? Did you not, when I did tank, highlight that dude? I guess you did kind of highlight it a little bit. Okay. Anyway, what was I looking for now? I lost track of what I was doing because I realized how derpy I was. The jar, or the tempered glass. Tempered glass. All right, I ain't seeing it there. I feel like I had extra tempered glass too. Because I remember making it and being like, oh, I need, you know, maybe it was just that. Maybe I did smelt the proper amount. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a cast iron ingot. So you just go in here, right? Easy enough. Because I want a separate jar for superheated stuffs, right? And I feel like that might be cool. You know what else I would love to have? Is a fluid canister from Just Dire Things. So I can store more than one bucket of stuff. I've got that many. Let's cook up some more of you. See that whole fading in thing? Every stage is supposed to fade in like that. Every stage. After the first one, it stops. I have to figure out why. All right, so we've got that cooking. Oh, wait, we don't have a spot for netherrack? That's annoying. I really need to figure out, you know, brown dye can move. You don't have to be in the plant's chest. You're not technically a plant. Brown dye. All right, so we've got the canister. What has to go under it? Is it So I've got lots of soul sand, so I'm going to go with this one. I don't have a lot of magma just yet, right? But I think I've got enough soul sand that I can make one of these. I just need any kind of logs. And there you go. That should be a superheated dude. Now, somebody said I should, like, spread these out. I don't know if that's true or not. Doesn't seem like it made a difference. Yeah, I think the time it smelts to run is static, and I think it just smelts more than one thing at a time. So fluid canister just needs a piece of glass. Cool. And there, I can scoop out all 8 buckets at once. And I'm thinking maybe I should have like a chest. I might move this whole getup over there. But another jar automator would actually probably be really smart to make. So that's going to be a hopper, a piston, and a dropper. So I'm going to need some iron and some redstone. And some of this cast iron. And some of you. So you, and you are going to set that up. So bing, bang, boom. And then I'm also going to need that, and that. Okay. And like I said, I might relocate this, the other thing too, but for now, you can chill there with this on top, with this on top, and then if I click you into there, along with some redstone, and then we drop a chest next to you, right? Now, I'm going to want... Now, as a reminder, you're kind of slow, but that's not the end of the world. As a reminder, we get, like, a bunch of netherrack per. Quest complete. Hooray! Sweet. Pour on the lava. I've decided to experiment a bit more with the netherrack I've made. Since it has the ability to withstand the heat of the lava dimension, it made sense for me to try using lava instead of water in an iron sluice. The gold mesh seems to be the lowest tier that can withstand the lava, but it is definitely producing some different materials. Create crushed netherrack and run it through an iron sluice with lava instead of water. Note, automate pumping in lava requires a diamond sluice or better. Aha, that's interesting. So what I should be able to do is take that tank that I totally derped up making previously, and let's get this mesh and another hopper and another sluice. You guys all finished your work? Good. So we're going to do you. I need a chain. If it's not here, I would have put it here. See, I know it's there, and I'm just not seeing it. YouTuber blindness is a thing. I'm not going to lie. It's 100% a thing. Are they... Oh, you know, they do only make one at a time, so maybe I don't have an extra chain. I have extra nuggets, and that'll work. Okay. And then what we're going to do is probably have... I probably want a similar setup here. Wonder if I could... This sounds fun to me, so I'm going to do it. I should probably keep that guy. Right? But if I did this, and then we put a tank here, and then we put our lava in, and then we told you to push. Okay. And then we wanted to upgrade you to gold tier. So that's going to be a bunch of string needed. And a little bit of gold. Okay. So we do that. And then we can hopper you with a chest. Okay. Then we take all this stuff. Compressible? I guess we'll find out. Hooray, yes it is. You know what else I learned? You can break double compressed with the, or triple compressed, or any tier of compressed. And it totally works. How cool is that? So then we toss all that in there, and then you're going to sieve that up. And I'm assuming that that gets me something that I want, right? Blazing mesh is much better than gold mesh. Maybe I should hold off on that until I can get blazing mesh. So where do we get blazing mesh from? Blazing mesh is going to require mage bloom fiber and blaze rods and diamond mesh as a prerequisite, which is a bummer. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. All right, So unfortunately, I couldn't record for the last few minutes. So I did a little bit of off-camera type stuff. I expanded my platform. I replaced my storage drawers here with compacting drawers so I could start getting compacted versions of both gravel and cobble. I also rerouted how this setup works. So I moved the tempered glass jar that was here over to here. And I created another tempered glass jar that's dedicated to making lava. So basically, this is like an automatic lava generator now, and the fluid tank is serving to push lava into both drawers here. So it's pushing in this direction and to the back, which is feeding the redstone. And then the redstone, which is turning into netherrack, is going directly into an auto hammer, which is then going into a chest, which is then feeding into this guy. So effectively, I keep feeding this dude with cobble, and I keep feeding this dude with redstone, and we'll keep producing netherrack. Is that cool? I think that's cool. So I've automated the netherrack before I automated the gravel, which is kind of funny. But, you know, gets the job done. It's pretty good. So, speaking of gravel, I'm going to go throw a bunch of that in there because I've been sieving a lot of dust and sand lately. I've been getting more of this stuff. I also did a little bit of exploring because, like, I literally just couldn't record for a few minutes. So I was like, well, might as well work on some kind of boring tasks that might be, you know, easy to do off-camera deal. So found an airdrop came in. You can kind of see it right there. Or maybe it was this one. I forget. One of them. So I snagged the airdrop, got a bunch of loots. One of which was Arcwood saplings, which means I can get into Ars Nouveau if I want, which I might want to do sooner than later. Because I feel like Ars Nouveau is going to play a big role in what's coming up. Now that said, all that said, as I was preparing to get into conductive resources, aka silicon and copper alloy ingots and fused quartz, I realized this quest is locked behind a new type of smelter, which is this quest, a new type of smelter. Which means, in order for me to progress, I need to go into the Tinker's thing. So before I said, like, hey, I'll get to that in a little bit, I think it's time to get to it. So I'm going to make some fire clay, which is clay and sand, right? And do I have an extra dirt here? I don't think so, but I can get some. Actually, I'm going to do... I'll just do that much. Actually, that's not going to be much. I'm going to do that much. And that should be like close to a stack of dirt. A little bit more then. Sweet. Just have a little bit more. And again, I'll off-camera this. So I'm just going to craft a bunch of this fire sand. And then also, I'm going to want another batch of you in sand mode. So I can easily just do this and that. And then this guy can be a bunch of sand for what I need to do. Cool? So a little bit of this off camera, and I'll be back. All right, so I smelted up some fire bricks, courtesy of my fire clay, and I guess it's time. So what's this mod actually called? Ooh, and I even get more fire clay as a thing. What's this mod called? It is Productive Metalworks. Awesome. Okay. Definitely has a Tinker's-like feel, so we're going to find out. I assume it's similar, and it looks cool to me. So let's dig into it. So I'm going to need the building blocks. So I'm going to need 21 black fire bricks, which looks easy enough to get, right? That should be 16. There we go, 24 we'll go with. Okay. And then, waiting for the last couple here to smelt. Let's go. Then we're going to need the core of the foundry. So we're going to need a controller. And we're going to need a tank. And we're going to need some liquid heating coils. We're going to need 9 of those? Okay. So let's read the quest just so we can see what's going on. With access to plenty of cobblestone now, making enough sand and clay should be no problem. I can smelt clay down into normal bricks, but these aren't very heat resistant. I want to make a forge for that metalworking, and these won't do. Mixing clay with sand makes a much better mixture. When fired, these make much more durable bricks. These fire bricks stack together very nicely. If I want to make a foundry, I'll need to use these as one of the main building blocks to hold in the molten metal. Craft 21 fire bricks for use in building the foundry. I need to construct a base that can get hot enough to melt metal. Copper seems to be a good conductive metal for this. Of course, I'll also need some way to control the foundry itself, as well as a storage with something hot enough in it to smelt things down. So basically, yeah, I guess that's going to make the base of it. So these dudes are going to need a bunch of copper and buckets. So I better snag some copper and iron, right? And then we're going to want, 9-ish buckets. And then we should be able to get 9-ish liquid heating coils, right? And then we're also going to want one of you. And then I need a blast furnace, which is going to be that. And then we're going to need, 5 iron and 3 smooth stone. So let's get a bunch of you cooking. Just so we have some smooth stone. Right? And then we'll have more for later. And there's the basics of our foundry. Is that cool? Sounds cool to me so far. And then the last piece is the drain. I'll add this to the to-do list. The casting table. Sounds pretty familiar. And the foundry tap. Yep, definitely has familiarity, which is cool. Okay. And after handing in all these quests, we're going to get a couple extra Blackfire bricks and a couple extra Blackfire bricks. And looks like I get a basin for that, which is cool. A casting basin with an extra drain. So I'm guessing this is all very familiar territory for me. And now it's time to put it all together. So we're going to need an ingot cast and a plate cast for this. Use this big book of metallurgy. I can see a guide on how to make a proper foundry. The liquid heating coils are used as the base, with the walls being made of fire bricks. Somewhere on the walls, I'll make sure to have a controller, the tank, and somewhere to drain the molten metal I plan on making out of the taps into the table. I should definitely make some casts first with the foundry to mold the molten metal in. More about the foundry. So I'm guessing it's pretty straightforward. The tank needs to be filled with lava to melt down items. To pour out molten metal, select the controller, then right-click on a foundry tap that is above either a casting table or casting base. It looks pretty familiar. I think the only difference, or the nuance that's different, is the whole use these guys as the base kind of deal. But let's open up that big book of foundries just to, take a look at it. There's the foundry. Looks cool. Yep. So, yeah, and we could visualize it if we wanted to. But I don't feel like I need to. I think it looks pretty Tinkersy. So what I'll do is just assume it's pretty Tinkersy. And then if something doesn't work, we'll manage. Is that fair? Okay, so we're going to want the bricks. And then we're going to want... Are these different bricks? So there's Blackfire bricks, and then there's Blackfire bricks, and they do not stack for some reason. Interesting. But then we're going to want drains. So I assume I'm going to want 2 drains, right? Is that a fair kind of assessment like I normally do with Tinkers? So it's going to be like drain, drain, and then spigot, spigot, and then you, and then we'll have our controller, and then we'll have our tank. I kind of want the controller on the left. So we'll put the foundry tank there and the controller there. And is that, like, valid? Oh, yeah. Oh, things happened. Liquid heating coils are on. Nice. Okay, cool. Sweet. That's neat. Okay. And then you need lava, it said. So I'm going to go snag a little bit of that. Scoop. And click. 4 buckets is what it seems to hold. So half of my fluid canister, right? And then I assume we're good to go. So to make what we need to make, which is the ingot and the plate cast, we're going to put any ingot there and pour molten iron over it. Molten cast iron can come from any cast iron. So we're going to want, I'm assuming, let me double check. I don't want to assume. So So I need 360 millibuckets of molten cast iron for this. And I need 360 millibuckets, which it even says on the tooltip is 4 ingots. So that ain't terrible, right? I've already got 4 ingots of cast iron. I will get a few more, I assume, courtesy of that method. So I toss you in there, I presume. Oh, that's nice and fast, too. I like fast. Dyer likes fast. I'm on board with fast, right? And then I'm assuming pour that in, and that will cast and cool, and nice. Even has that familiar tss, which is a win for me. All right, a few more seconds, and we can get the plate, which a plate mold involves getting either, preferably, I guess that works, or kind of any plate. So I have one of those hammers. Can I do that with copper? Is there a copper plate that works that way? No. Already liquid. Nice. Now, it's very possible that cast iron is just going to be, like, way faster than any other. So if that turns out to be the case, then I will be sad about my saying how fast that was and how exciting it was that it was fast. But we'll find out. Cool. So now I've got redstone clock and hopper, which is probably a little bit of a hint on how you can automate this thing. Yeah, right? Yeah, very cool. And now you want me to make electrum, which I assume is copper and gold, or silver and gold, I mean. Yeah, silver and gold. And then invar is iron and nickel, as traditionally done, right? 1 nickel to 2 iron, okay? So 1 nickel to 2 iron, and then 1 to 1 copper and gold, right? So 1 nickel, so let's get like let's get 9 and 18, so we can get 2 blocks worth, or 3 blocks, or whatever that turns out to be, right? And then we'll get 9 and silver, I assume, is in here somewhere as well. Cool. And I'm also going to go on the limb and assume that I can do this. Right. So that you guys are going to be all kinds of cool now. Where's my fast? I was promised fast. It ain't so fast no more. But I guess that's all cool. And it'll hopefully meld and mix and do the thing what I want to do. And I'm also going to guess that, you know, the standard Tinkersy type stuff applies, where I can make it bigger and yada yada yada. Is that a fair assumption? Yeah. It looks like each metal has its own melting speed. That might be true. It also might just be that blocks take longer to melt than ingots. That's also might be true. Guess we'll see. So I'm thinking you guys will mix in there, right? Okay, cool. Oh, and it takes a second to mix. That's cool. Neato burrito. Look at that. Look at it mixing. Mixing, mixing, mixing. That's cool. So presumably you're gonna all come together and be super happy? I think so. Alright. And then once I get those ingots, that completes this quest, right? And there's a same deal. You click to make it, you know, become there. And then I assume this is going to give me a block worth, which will be cool. Right? You're still mixing. 2 blocks worth. Nice. Cooling. Empty. 1 block of ember. Okay, yeah, you want to click it with an empty hand. Cool. And it does the cool, like, changing color thing, which I like too. Sweet. That's awesome. And then at this point, I should have 2 blocks of molten electrum. So if I do this, that will partially quest complete, right? Invar task. And I don't know what I'm going to need all this invar and electrum for, but I assume we're going to find out next episode. Because at this point, it's pretty much wrapping up point. So let's wrap up here. Come back next time. When we come back, we will get into the next section of the chapter, which is gonna be right. So you're done. So you give me some rewards. Ooh, I got a cutter. Is that like a actual? Oh my goodness, that's an actual boat I can put on. That's cool. That is awesome. That is super awesome. Yeah, so if I come back next episode, we now can progress to here. We can get silicon by putting quartz and a nugget cast, and that'll get us silicon. Okay, so throw quartz in there, we get a nugget cast, which I assume is just as easy as getting 4, molten cast irons. So not a big deal. I'll get some more iron, and make that between episodes, and then we'll be good to go. Sound like a plan? And then we can get into also copper alloy, which is, again, it's copper and redstone usually. Copper and quartz. Oh, copper and quartz. Okay. And then fused quartz will be molten quartz poured into a basin. So it's just pure quartz going into a basin. And then that'll get me most of what I need to get into Oratech, which is exciting. I'm a little bit intrigued. Oratech is like an early game tech mod. That should be cool. For now, All20 sign off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. The deal. Take it easy.